Hello, hello! Pizza Pax here, and we're back with Throwback Thursday, episode number 62. This week we have Ravnica, City of Guilds, Selesnya United, which is the green-white deck. The Selesnya Guild. Let's see, the Selesnya Guild values the life of each living thing, and will overwhelm anyone who doesn't. The Convoke mechanic is just one way it produces new creatures at a massive rate, ensuring all enemies will soon be outnumbered. Right. This is one of the old hanger packs, too, which is pretty cool. Don't see those super often. But let's get into this. Alright. The joys of working with old sealed product. Alright. Now these are guaranteed to have a foil basic in them. And a pro player card. Hey, it's Gabriel Nassif. We've good old Yellow Hat. Or Yellow Dog on MTGO. We've actually covered several decks by Gabriel in this series. Good old Parisian. I miss these pro player cards. They were pretty cool. Alright, first off we have our pamphlet. This was when they first introduced F&M. Actually, it was about 6 months after. I think they fully rebranded in between Champions of Kamigawa and Betrayers, if I remember correctly. This was when they fleshed out their website. Alright. So the hybrid cards, Convoke, which is for Selesnya. There's a little bit about the story. Once You're With Us, a little bit from the Ravnica novel. There's a cool picture of Tolsmir, Wolf's Blood. I think that's right. A little blurb on playing the deck. And then we have our deck list. Let's see, we have 11 forests, 10 plains, 2 Selesnya Sanctuary, which is the bounce land, 1 Vitu-Ghazi, the city tree. Let's see, then we have our creatures, 2 Elvish Sky Sweeper, 1 Scion of the Wild, which at this point was a rare. That has been downgraded to a common, and then it was originally downgraded to an uncommon, now it's a common. Man, how times change. 2 Null Mage Shepherd, 1 Dowsing Shaman, 2 Rootkin Ally, 3 Siege Worm, 2 Caregiver, 2 Sand Sower, 2 Conclave Phalanx, 2 Selesnya Evangel, 1 Watchwolf, 1 Tolsmir Wolf's Blood, which is our other rare, 1 Selesnya Guild Mage, and then 2 Centaur Safeguard. Then for our other cards, we have 3 Gather Courage, 4 Fists of Ironwood, 2 Scatter the Seeds, 1 Dryad's Caress, 1 Overwhelm, and 1 Conclave's Blessing. Very nice. Alright. Let's back up. So let's take a look at Selesnya United. So we have Beautiful Cityscape Forest by Richard Wright. One by Anthony Waters. Another forest by Stephen Martinieri. And then the last one is by Christopher Moliere. Or Molier. And the rest are duplicates of those 4. There's only 4 arts in Ravnica. Absolutely beautiful lands. And then we have our plains. Also absolutely fantastic. This one's by Anthony S. Waters. Christopher Moliere. Richard Wright, which is probably my favorite planes of the set. And then Stephen Martinieri. The rest are duplicates of those. We are on to Selesnya Sanctuary, by John Avon. Absolutely gorgeous land. Comes into play tapped. When it comes into play, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Then tap, add green-white to your mana pool. Good old Karus, aka bounce lands, which still see a lot of play both in Pauper, Modern, basically every format they're legal. Commander. Occasionally they even show up in Legacy, which is kind of strange. Then we have Vitu-Ghazi, the City Tree, art by Martina Pilsarova. It's a land that taps for a colorless, and then for 2 white and a green, you can tap it to put a 1/1 green sapling creature token into play. So this went into just about every green-white deck I had at the time. Even control decks. It was fantastic in control decks as a finisher. Let's see, then we have Elvish Sky Sweeper, art by Mark Tedden. For a green, it's a 1/1 elf warrior. You can pay 4 and a green and sacrifice a creature, so not necessarily this creature, but sacrifice a creature to destroy target creature with flying. This was pretty nice in the mid-game, especially with tokens as a way of cleaning up flyers. We have 2 copies. Next up we have Sign of the Wild. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This was originally printed as a rare. This was the first printing. Art by Kev Walker. This is now a common. 1 green for an XX avatar. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. It's too bad it didn't have, like, trample or something. It might still be a rare. Next up, Null Mage Shepherd, art by Stephen Tappan. 3 and a green for a 2/4 Elf Shaman. Tap 4 untapped creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. This actually saw a fair bit of competitive play because of that. We have 2 Null Mage Shepherd. Next up, Dowsing Shaman, art by Wayne Reynolds. 4 and a green for a 3/4 Centaur Shaman. And then for 2 and a green, you can tap it to return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Very nice. Next up, Rootkin Ally, art by Arnie Sweckel. 4 green for a 3/3 Elemental Warrior with Convoke. So you can use creatures like their mana sources to tap this. Each creature you tap while playing this spell reduces its cost by 1 mana of that creature's color. And then you can tap 2 untapped creatures you control to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. That was actually pretty strong, especially in limited. We have 2 copies of Rootkin Ally. Next up, Siege Worm, art by Carl Critchlow. And it looks like we have a print issue on this one. And then, so for 5 green, it's a 5/5 worm with Convoke and Trample. Very nice. We have 3 copies of Siege Worm, which is kind of the top end for this. Occasionally you'll see Siege Worm and Pauper, especially in token strategies. Next up, Caregiver, art by William Simpson. For a white, it's a 1/1 human cleric that you can pay a white and sacrifice a creature to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Pretty nice sack outlet and some damage prevention. Sand Sower. This was a menace. I mean, absolute menace in limited. Art by Kev Walker. 3 and a white for a 1/3 spirit. And you can tap 3 untapped creatures you control to tap target creature. So quite often you would put this in something that you could generate a bunch of tokens in, and then just lock down your opponent's stuff. Next up, Conclave Phalanx, art by Wayne Reynolds. 4 and a white for a 2/4 human soldier with Convoke. And when it comes into play, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Just nice and clean, especially if you're convoking it out. And it always sees itself, so you're always gaining at least 1 life. We have 2 Conclave Phalanx. Next up, Selesnya Evangel, art by Rob Alexander. For a green and a white, it's a 1/2 Elf Shaman that you can pay 1 and tap it, and tap target untapped creature you control to put a 1/1 green sapling creature token into play. This actually still sees occasional Pauper play. It's a really good token producer. We have 2 copies of Selesnya Evangel. We have Watchwolf, the first, if I remember correctly, 3/3 for 2 with no downside. Art by Kev Walker. It is 3 and a white for a 3/3 wolf, and that's it. Just vanilla 3/3 wolf for 2. Also, fun fact, Spell Snare has a Watchwolf being countered on the art for it. So, fun little Easter egg there. Next up, Tolsmere Wolf's Blood, art by Donato Giancola. 4 white yellow, or 4 white green. And my brain is all over the place today. For a 3/4 legendary elf warrior. This was a pretty popular commander. EDH leader. Back in the day. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. Other white creatures you control get +1/+1. Tap, put a legendary 2/2 green white wolf creature token named Voja into play. I've also heard it called Voya. I've also heard it called Voha. Fun creature that can keep making a token as necessary. Alright, next up, Selesnya Guildmage, art by Mark Zug. Hybrid green white for a 2/2 elf wizard. And for 3 and a green, you can create a Saproling token, a 1/1 Saproling token. And for 3 and a white, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. This saw significant play, both in standard at the time. It saw extended play at the time. It saw a little bit of legacy play for a little while. Just all around a great card. Probably one of the top 3 guild mages out of the original run. The only ones I think that really beat it are the Izzet Guildmage and the Orzhov Guildmage, just because they have infinite combos. But next up, Centaur Safeguard, art by Glenn Fabry. 2 and a hybrid green-white for a 3/1 Centaur Warrior. When it's put into a graveyard from play, you may gain 3 life. Good way to defend yourself. For quite a while, this actually was played in sideboards and Pauper. It's kind of shown its age at this point. Next up, Gather Courage, art by Brian Despin. Or Despane? I think it's Despin. For green, it's an instant with Convoke. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You almost never actually pay the green for this. We have 3 copies of Gather Courage. Next up, Fists of Ironwood, art by Glenn Angus. 1 and a green for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When Fists of Ironwood comes into play, put 2 1/1 green sapling creature tokens into play. Enchanted creature has trample. If I remember correctly, this was also the first set where they transitioned to enchantment aura instead of enchant creature, or so on and so on the actual type line. We have 4 copies of Fists of Ironwood. The 2 Saproling tokens that it creates are very significant, and that you can just pass around and trample with it. It was played quite a bit in token strategies at the time. In fact, there was a deck very similar to this that made it to the Pro Tour called Ghazi Glare, which It was a green-white token strategy that was built very similar to opposition decks from Onslaught. Or not Onslaught, Odyssey. Is that right? Pretty sure it's Odyssey. Next up, Scatter the Seeds, art by Rob Alexander. 3 green instant with Convoke. Put 3 1/1 green sapling creature tokens into play. This was a limited all-star. So was Fists of Ironwood, to be honest. But this being able to put 3 saplings into play at instant speed was fantastic, both offensively and defensively. We have 2 copies of Scatter the Seeds. Next up, Dryad's Caress, art by Randy Gallegos. 4 green for an instant. You gain 1 life for each creature in play. If white was spent to play Dryad's Caress, untap all creatures you control. Another one that was absolutely fantastic in limited and could absolutely blow people out if they weren't expecting it. Next up, Overwhelm. This is the special version of Overrun for the set. Unfortunately, it does not give it does not give trample, but it is still very strong. Art by Wayne Reynolds. 5 green sorcery with Convoke. Creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. So can be extremely strong, especially if you're doing what this deck wants to do, which is pump out tokens. And then next up, Conclave's Blessing. 3 and a white for an enchantment aura with Convoke and enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 for each other creature you control. Art by Shizizaru. Didn't see a ton of play outside of limited, but in limited this thing was a house. And then our premium land is an island. Art by Stefan Martinieri. Very nice. One of my favorites, actually. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure with Selesnya United from Ravnica City of Guilds. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. And until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.